Hey all, welcome back to Gadfly, the podcast about third parties, French candidates, and just generally weird American electoral history. I'm Dusty Wilson.
I'm Una O'Leary.
And Una, oh man, I got so much egg on my face this week. It is too much. It is a bunch, and it's everywhere. And I have a goatee, and that does not mix well with egg.
Were you trying to get into ASMR or like the Korean face planting into bread, but instead you were doing it with egg? Why do you have so much egg on your face?
Well, you know how we did a recall election episode talking about the majority of the 41 people who got in, and then 5 more people got in. I was like, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well, one of those 5 people is now leading in the polls.
Oh, so Dusty, you stayed awake so late that first night.
I know. I overestimated shit because I didn't think he was going to get in. The guy's name is Larry Elder. He has a syndicated radio talk show. He describes himself as a lowercase L libertarian. And initially, he wasn't allowed in because he didn't submit his tax returns, because California passed a law that if it's a primary, you have to turn in your tax returns. Took it to court, and the judge is like, this is a recall, not a primary.
Loophole. Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
5 people got a very solid loophole.
Oh, no. I'm kind of annoyed at that.
We're not going to talk about him this week. There's a lot to Larry Elder. It's 6 weeks out before we get to the election. I kind of want to wait and see where his polls are. If he continues to go ahead, we're going to probably have to do an episode about him.
I'm just disappointed he doesn't go by Larry the Elder.
I know, like it was good enough for Pliny.
Yes.
But one of those fuckers might never read. Yeah. You know, that guy we're all supposed to read.
Don't at us, Classics Twitter.
Yeah. What did he write?
Follow you.
He wrote something about the Battle of Hastings. Is that right? I don't fucking know. And that's how you kill Una on the inside.
Oh, no.
But yeah, so we're going to have to go back and talk about him at some point in time. Another fun thing, though, on the side of that is new polls came out for Gavin Newsom's chances. Not much better. Getting a little worse. He is now within 3% chance of losing. And there was I believe it was Newsweek, did a piece on why the hell that might be happening. And the essential answer is no one really knows a recall election is coming. And everyone's kind of been told, like, don't worry about it. This isn't going to be a thing. He's fine. And people have kind of been subdued into not worrying about it. Now that the polls are changing, it's becoming a very hard task for the Democrats to be like, oh, fuck, we have to change our tactics now out of nowhere. It's almost like this has happened before. God damn it.
In fairness to the population, there's been a lot of worrying about masks, and sometimes you just don't want to add to the worry. Sometimes you're worried out.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot going on. But California does have statewide mail-in ballots, so you're going to get one no matter what if you're registered. So it's not really going to rely a ton on people going out and doing stuff. It's all about people actually returning the ballot, and so that's going to dictate quite a bit.
In California,
look, man, it's totally cool. I'll finish my script. I haven't been working on it because Starbucks is closed. And you know me, man. I'm like a fucking naturalist, man. If I'm writing a script, everyone's got to see me do it, man.
No, I do love it. It's like, wait, I was supposed to send what? No, I took notes from a general meeting on that. I can't send it in.
Wait, I put the stamp on who I wanted to win. Does that count? Whatever. Don't worry about it, man. Shaka, bro. But yeah, I'm sure we're a month and a half out from that election. It's September 14th, if memory serves. So plenty's going to happen between now and then. I'm interested to see if Gavin Newsom's allowed on the debate stage if it comes to that. But based on what we have so far, if Gavin Newsom is recalled, based on the polls, the winner would win with 12% of the vote. We are entering some very low bar stuff. And I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see California being run by a small L libertarian when everyone in the state house and Senate is Democrat. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen, and a part of me wishes there was a simulation I could run.
We need to get you the money and the technology for that, Dusty. Look, I want to make that dream come true for you.
Crusader Kings 3 is not doing it for me. I need more. I need deeper.
You need Crusader California Kings.
Oh my God. California. It's the same size as Crusader Kings. It's just a little longer and a
little wider.
Yeah, exactly.
In case you were to have more than another person in your bed with you.
It's essentially like it's the bed for thruples that are really succeeding. Yes. Just like everyone loves comfort and we get along great. Get a California king. We don't judge.
Yeah. It's for when you find that unicorn finally, but that unicorn sleeps real hot. Like it's just a lot of body heat.
Oh man, that is a make or break conversation, I imagine, for throuples, is who sleeps in the middle.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because that seems nice. It's probably very nice in winter, but the second summer hits.
Yeah, it's what my cat goes for.
Yeah. I mean, who fucking knows how that's gonna go in the summer? So this is a throuple podcast now by people who are not in throuples, just making guesses. We're assuming their problems.
Not a part of that lifestyle, although we are absolutely allies of that choice and consensual adults finding love.
I'm thoroughly impressed by people who can make it work. I think it's one of those things that I feel like my mental health couldn't even come close to doing well. And
is absolutely how I feel about the poly community. It's just like as a lapsed Catholic, once a friend of mine came out as poly, I was just like, and explained to me how the relationships work. I was like, oh my God, that's so much talking.
Yeah.
Holy there's so much communication of your feelings.
There is literally an emotional confidence that blows my mind.
Yes.
Poly community. It's like a superpower.
Yes.
Anyway, this is a politics podcast.
So anyway.
Oh man, so shout out to our poly throuple allies, listeners.
Let yourself be heard on the social medias. Give us a review.
It'll be, oh my God, 2.5 stars. Don't know what they're talking about.
I know, these fucking idiots.
Anyway, so we're back this week to continue our conversation about the last stronghold of communism in America, the tiny town of Plentywood, Montana, and the county of Sheridan in the northeast portion of the state, where it's mostly shitty farming land, a railroad, bars that are open all day, every day, deal with it, and just a bunch of criminals on the other side of Canada just waiting to steal your shit and run away. It's it's an ideal situation for communism to take over.
Truly.
Because, people are stealing your shit. I mean, all you have to be is just like, property's a construct. Technically, they're stealing from all of us. We need to band together, show them the means of production, and we can make this work.
I can't change what they're doing, but I can change my attitude about it. So what if it's just not stealing because I never owned anything to begin with?
Technically, they're stealing from the state. So, do with that as you will.
So state troopers, it's your problem now.
Una, did we solve crime?
I think so.
Oh, no.
Is this what those anarchist communities of white boys in the UK were trying to sell me on?
Yep, 100%. It's that and just owning all the black jeans. Like, that is the one property you can own is black jeans. Anyway, so we're talking about the communists of Northeast Montana. And so last time we were talking about them, they had just secretly taken over the whole Sheridan County government. At this time, they're still acting like they're members of the Nonpartisan League, but they're working on a plan. You can't exactly go out and say you're a communist right now because you'll either end up in jail or someone will kick the shit out of you and then someone else will do it again. So they got to be a little sneaky about it. And this is after a long history that we've covered of leftist organizations breaking up with each other until they finally form an organization that sticks for a little bit.
Yes, the angry mitosis of super left politics.
You have a slight disagreement from me? May I rebut with, go fuck yourself. I am going home.
You're only left with atoms. And by that, again, I mean just white boys in black turtlenecks.
Yeah. Like if we're using this as a relationship metaphor, I feel like a lot of these parties are breaking up over whether or not you're splitting the bill exactly 50-50 or if you're just paying for what you got.
Absolutely. It's splitting up over a couple CDs in one CD collection.
Look, I would rather break up than lose my copy of Can't Stop the Bum Rush by Lynn. You will not steal my sunshine. No, sir. It's a good album. Anyway, so they just taken over everything. The reddest group of dudes are now sheriff, state representative, and state senator. And so they've taken all these positions with the people of Sheridan County thinking they just voted for the Nonpartisan League to keep running things as they had before. The Nonpartisan League being a socialist splinter group that essentially took over North Dakota government for quite some time and installed a number of programs that are still very popular to this day. So Nonpartisan League is spreading into Minnesota, they're spreading into Montana, and things are going great. They're always going to be great. It's fine. So now as a reminder, the two big names in this whole scenario would be the newest sheriff, Rodney Salisbury, who just also so happened to view laws as a capitalist means to keep people from the means of production, and Charles Taylor, the Nonpartisan League's hand-picked choice to create a party newspaper in the county, only for him to secretly turn and publicly become the county's newest state senator. And really, the folks of Plentywood, Montana could not have been happier. When they saw Charles off to the state capitol in Helena, he promised that he would write back to the paper each week, giving them a detailed report of the ongoings of the state government, which he sort of did, just not very often. And it turns out in the first few months, he'd only sent back a few articles to the newspaper. Part of it was probably because he wasn't really there doing his job. Now, there isn't exactly an attendance record that I can look up for this, but based on everything that I am about to read, I don't think he was there very often. I think he maybe might have been there for a couple of months tops. Because Charles has bigger plans.
Oh boy.
And his bigger plans would actually lead us to our sweet home, Chicago, because it turns out there is going to be a labor and farmer meeting going down in July of 1923, and Charles had to fucking be there. So remember in the last episode we talked about the nonpartisan league pushing into Minnesota, only for them to be taken over by the Farmer Labor Party. Well, yes. Party, the Farmer Labor folks, they're going to be holding this convention in Chicago. And I'm going to apologize here because everything for like at least the next few pages is high school drama bullshit.
Ooh, I'm so glad I made tea.
It is fucking nuts. Like, after researching early socialism and communism in America, I have no idea how anyone takes these movements seriously. It is backstabbing. It is sneaky bullshit. It is, fuck you, I'm leaving moments. It is just people spreading tiny little fucking rumors. It's high school. These are all dudes who would have never stopped talking about high school and how much they fucking hated it.
Amazing.
All right. So Farmer Labor Party's having their convention in Chicago. And this is mostly because of another convention that they had attended the year prior from an organization called the Conference for Progressive Political Action. So the conference had been created by 16 railway unions in 1921 with the goal of, quote, uniting the forces of every progressive, liberal, and radical organization of the workers to advance the industrial and political power of the working class. So, the kind of things that the Farmer Labor Party would totally be into. The first conference went really well. It ended with the group forming a plan of action, pushed for the endorsement of candidates sympathetic to the cause, and they all agreed to meet again the next year to see how things went and maybe adapt the plan if need be. The thing, though, is by the next year, the Workers' Party had formed a bit of a plan. And yeah, I know, I haven't really brought up the Workers' Party before. And the reason for that is the Workers' Party is really just kind of a sneaky rebranding. So, as I mentioned in the last episode, the Sedition Act was around during World War I. It essentially said, you talk shit about the American government in any way, we will arrest you. And this was mostly aimed at socialists, but also anti-war activists who were actively telling people to refuse the draft or to not sign up to go to war. So it's still a few years out from this. You can't exactly go out and be like, hey, I'm a communist, vote for me. So they pulled a Pasquale's Pizza on Grubhub on this one. Where they decided to call themselves the Workers' Party. It's brand new. No one really knows who they are. They're not really hiding it very well, but technically they're not communists.
Right. Workers' Party. Wink.
Hey, this pizza tastes a lot like Ball Pit. Any reason why, Pasquale? I would love to know why there are video game tokens in the box. Yeah, so the Workers' Party, at this time, they get word of this big event for the conference. The conference invites pretty much anyone and everyone. If you're progressive, if you're far left-leaning, they want you to show the fuck up. And the Workers' Party has essentially decided, okay, everyone show the fuck up. We are going to boost numbers here, and we are going to force this conference to do whatever the fuck we want. And so what they want is they would really like the Conference for Progressive Political Action to create their own independent party of labor opposing all capitalist parties. So it kind of sounds like they want to make their own political party, which is a weird thing for a political party to do.
This is like coups on coups on coups and Inception.
Yeah, but it makes a little more sense when you start thinking about the British Labour Party. So the British Labour Party at the time was more of like an umbrella organization. They had their own candidates, but there were independent parties that operated in their own areas with their own specialized needs that could operate under the umbrella of the British Labour Party with their support, yet still remain independent. So what the Workers' Party is wanting to do is to create that umbrella organization that they control. So everyone else is allowed to keep their little independent parties, but they're allowed to choose who comes in, who they support, and they get to be the king of the socialist communists.
I mean, are they aware that we're not I just assume the British Labour Party was also worked better within their interest for a parliamentarian process.
Yeah, it works a lot better in a country that has multiple third-party options, but also regional parties that are healthy and active. Yeah.
Right. And not spearheaded by one party that is just looking to create like a Stalinist organization.
Exactly. Yeah. Like here in America, we don't really have an equivalent to Sinn Féin. So it doesn't quite work. But I kind of get what they're trying to do here, because there's enough third parties going on right now that developing a coalition within the House of Representatives or the U.S. Senate is something that could work.
Yeah. They're sweet summer children. They don't know what's coming up.
Exactly.
They don't know how it eventually shakes out.
Look, guys, from here on out, we're clearly all going to agree on everything. It's going to be fine. Yeah, and so that's essentially what they want to be. They're totally fine if other people want to make their own socialist parties, but they want to be the ones to control them. So this is kind of them trying to get ahead of everything, to be able to control everything without being the most powerful party. So they go to the conference with this huge plan, and weirdly enough, they actually have the support of the Farmer Labor Party for this. So they go into the conference, bomb rush the whole movement, and say, we are going to force a vote on this, and we are going to create this independent party. And it gets voted down. They do not succeed.
Womp womp.
Which immediately causes the Farmer Labor Party to say, fuck you, we quit, we are never coming back, and you know what? We're going to have our own conference. And it's not going to be in Cleveland like this rinky-dink bullshit. It's going to be in Chicago. We're going to be near a fucking Uno's. Uno's is going to cater it. That's how good ours is going to be.
Yeah, none of this ball pit shit.
Who the fuck is Pasquale?
I just want to scream at these groups of like, not every acre of earth needs to be scorched and salted. Just walk away. Just stop it.
No, everything in socialist and communist politics during this time has to be treated like the retreat to Stalingrad. That's all it is. And so the farmer laborers are just like, all right, we're going to do our own fucking conference. The Workers' Party is worried. They're still worried that suddenly the Farmer Labor Party is going to figure out their idea and try to make their own thing. So a subcommittee from the Workers' Party and a subcommittee from the Farmer Labor Party get together and they develop a plan, because not everyone in the Farmer Labor Party is super keen on this idea. And a lot of them are also just like, we know you're communists. We do not like you. Please don't show up. Please don't show up.
You're not invited. Please don't come. It's a small wine and cheese party.
Guys, there is not enough jardinara for everyone. We ordered for 50. And so these two groups together and kind of hatch their scheme that it didn't work there, but we're going to make it work here. And Charles Taylor, of course, ends up getting word of this, and he makes his way to Chicago to be part of this momentous event. And so everything gets together. There are some members of the Farmer Labor Party who are completely pissed off about this. One dude in particular, I believe he was the head of the firefighters union or something of that sort. I know, right? He gives this hunky speech about how, like, guys, this isn't what we stand for. We're a socialist party. We're not communists. Come on, let's figure this out. He gets shouted down, realizing he's outnumbered, pulls the entire fucking union from the event. 40 people leave, leaving only folks who want to do this dumb fucking plan.
Oh my God. Taking the calendars with them. Everyone's upset.
Just hunky butts walking up to Sheridan.
The cute Dalmatian left with them too.
Oh my God, that Dalmatian is 6 weeks from retirement.
No.
Yeah, and so they end up going through with the plan. They end up creating what is known as the Federated Farmer Labor Party.
Come on.
It's different. It's slightly different.
I need to keep like a genealogical tree of all of these just to keep them straight in my head.
I feel like if someone attempted to make this with literally every third party that splintered off, it would be like the Silmarillion. It's like 6 people would read it, 5 would like it, and everyone else would be like, yeah, I know it exists. Make me a chart.
Yeah.
Make me a chart and I'll care. This ends up giving Charles Taylor some really cool advantages, though, because now he can officially make a break from the Nonpartisan League, because now he has a larger party to support him that is secretly run by communists that can help slowly push him into being like, okay, we're communists now, have fun.
Oh shit, someone's been playing 9-dimensional chess this whole time.
A fun thing, I wish I could bring this up later. It's a small detail that doesn't really fit. I found out back then they used to call softball kitten ball.
Why? Wait, why?
Because girls played it and women are kittens. And so it's kitten ball. It's somehow actually more wholesome than what you would expect for the time.
No, I was just so worried. Just like, is it because they're originally chucking bags of kittens? I don't know. People had a lot of sociopaths just out in the open then.
Look, bags go in river, single cat baseball field.
Okay. All right, so they're playing kitten ball.
Yeah, 9-dimensional kitten ball. It's great. So happy I got a chance to bring that up. And so Charles sends back word to Montana and says, guys, get to work on this. Rodney Salisbury, I want you working on this. Hans Rasmussen, fucking get on this shit. Tell everyone this is the new fucking plan.
Coo.
Everybody! So they immediately start getting to work, start to get a slate of candidates for the Federated Farmer Labor Party in Montana. The Nonpartisan League is essentially kicked the fuck out of the county. The paper that they had founded, they had trusted this man to found, is now a Farmer Labor Party newspaper out of nowhere.
Wow.
And the thing is, Taylor was beyond convinced that this sudden betrayal would go along without a hitch. Dude literally believed, quote, that the entire membership of the old Nonpartisan League will join the party en masse. No reason, just like, it was entirely based off the fact, I would say, that he is running the most popular newspaper in Sheridan County, and what he says goes. If he's saying the Nonpartisan League is no longer here to help farmers, but lucky for you, I just helped create one that will. And people will just go along with it. And, really, he did have one thing really big on his side. And that was the fact that the Nonpartisan League was not doing well expanding anywhere. Like I said, in Minnesota, they got trounced by the Farmer Labor Party. And in Montana, they ran into a couple problems. One, police were not fans of them. And they went about their usual tactic of just beating the shit out of people who were nonpartisan league members, and especially folks who were leading strikes.
Oh, because of the striking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's only going to get worse with pure-blooded communists, right? Like,
look, we're not at Stalin yet. Let's not evoke Stalin until he shows up.
Okay. Oh, God.
But you're also not wrong.
That's great. That's another question I have. Remind me again what year we're in?
This year would be 1923.
Okay.
So police are just like, hey, I know how to fix this. Beating you to death. We'll do that, especially because the district attorneys like us and will not press charges on us.
Oh, boy.
Not only that, though, but Arthur Townley, the guy who created the Nonpartisan League as his own little multi-level marketing group, he's been in prison for a bit for the Sedition Act because he was telling folks not to enlist in World War I. And
because the Sedition Act came for his ass? Yeah.
Yes, it did. And this officially made the Nonpartisan League an un-American group. So
it's very hard to vote for.
If you're an America-loving farmer who's just doing your best and likes these ideas of collectively working together, Nonpartisan League can't be your answer anymore. But lucky for you, the Farmer Labor Party is here to help out. And things are going to be okay.
It's got farmer in the name.
So the Nonpartisan League would suspend operations on their main paper in 1923 and go into a very long lull in political power until about the 1930s. They'd have a small comeback. They'd technically exist until 1955. Lynn Fraser actually was elected senator after he was recalled as governor, and he served in the U.S. Senate until about the 1950s. So technically, there was a Nonpartisan League member and a socialist who was a member of the U.S. Senate up until the 50s.
Into the 50s! Just in time to see McCarthy's pasty white ass come rolling on down.
Yeah, I'm sure Lynn Fraser's like, I'm gonna get going. I gotta go farm some flaxseed.
How about that pension, though?
Man, this is it's been real. If anything, it's been real. As for Charles Taylor, though, dude was more than ready to take advantage of this brand new vacuum. So while his pals were busy making moves in Montana, Charles set his sights even higher. By the time of the Farmer Labor Convention of 1924, the party was set for some pretty big moves. They were expected to nominate Wisconsin political superstar Fightin' Bob LaFollette as their presidential nominee. Now, we are going to probably do like a 3 or 4-parter on Fightin' Bob at some point in time.
The name is Fightin' Bob.
The dude is a zaddy. He is one of the hottest dudes I think who has ever served in the U.S. Senate. Dude is a goddamn hunk. And he is progressive as shit. He was a fucking cool guy. He ran for president at least once, and during that time, he didn't win, but he won the state of Wisconsin and was one of the last third-party nominees to ever win electoral votes in this country.
Man, I know what we're doing February 2022 for Valentine's Day spread.
Oh my God. All right, yeah, we'll do it. February will be Fightin' Bob month. That'll be great. And so the Farmer Labor Party was just like, this is great. Fightin' Bob believes in everything we believe. He's only a couple of states over. You know, the Worker Party might have taken things over in Chicago, but, you know, that's probably just a blip. And for a while, it was kind of looking that way because a lot of members of the Farmer Labor Party were super stoked to get back in, to get involved. And a lot of their regular members were going to be coming to the 1924 convention. That is until Bob LaFollette said, if the Farmer Labor Party endorses me, I will not accept it. I would rather run as an independent than take their nomination. Because if there's one thing Fightin' Bob fights the most, it's the fucking commies.
Oh boy.
And Bob was worried. He's like, look, I get it. A lot of you don't agree with this, but if this shit happens again, I cannot have my name associated with people that I fucking hate. And so he just got out ahead of it and was just like, I'm not going to take it.
Deuces.
And this resulted in a multitude of Farmer Labor Party members deciding not to show up for the convention. And once again, the communists took over. And for party chairman, they elected Charles Taylor to lead the fucking party. Yep. Now, here's where things get a little weird, though, because the convention, it's a little more than just kind of the communists continuing things. Because, you know, Charles Taylor, he's going to be the chairman of this party. He's probably feeling like he's moving up pretty high. But there's someone up a little higher than him. Now, Charles's whole demeanor during this whole thing was suspiciously weird. So when he was initially announced to be the guy who was going to be the party chairman or was nominated, he feigned this huge thing of just like, no, I don't want to be chairman. No, you should pick someone else. I'm not the guy. But the thing that made him so appealing for them is that technically he's still a member of the Nonpartisan League. No one knows he's a communist yet, except for all the fucking communists who are there. And so it kind of looks like a compromise candidate.
Oh my God.
So as a compromise, everyone votes for the secret communist.
Oh my God. It's a compromise. They took the honey pot that was intended to be taken.
Yep, it was almost too easy. And so he accepts. The next night he's going to give his acceptance speech. And he walks up to this guy named William Z. Foster and shows him his acceptance speech. Foster looks it over, says, no, none of this is fine, and gives him a typewritten speech that supposedly has come directly from Moscow. Now, there's two reasons that we know that this is coming directly from Moscow. For one, William Z. Foster is the Secretary General of the Communist Party of the United States of America. And two, we know that this happened because at minimum 3 FBI agents watched it happen. Now, more than likely, the FBI was there because they were following Foster. But this isn't going to be good for Charles. Now he's on the FBI's radar, definitely.
Big time. Yeah, the FBI is just like, well, that's a freebie.
Man, who wants to go to Montana? Let's do this. Yeah. So William Foster was born in Taunton, Massachusetts in 1881. His father was an Irish refugee of the Fenian Rising, and his mother was an English Catholic. And of the 23 babies that she bore, 9 survived.
Oh my God.
Yeah. That is a harrowing ratio.
Get this woman to sainthood.
So William's childhood could best be described as not the fucking best. At the age of 10, he left school to apprentice as a die sinker, which is someone who mints coins by hand. Ooh. He left 3 years later to work at a white lead factory, which I'm sure had wonderful health benefits. Then bounced around jobs after that, working at a fertilizer plant, as a railroad construction worker, a streetcar driver, a longshoreman, a sailor, a lumberjack, a miner, a sheep herder, a sawmill worker, and a farmer. And at the age of 20, he had moved out west and joined the Socialist Party. And when the party split in 1919 during that big old Bolshevik Revolution, he went with the other communists to start the National Party. So these particular notes that he gave to Charles to speak on behalf of Moscow, he was told to disavow ever being a communist and claimed that he and Foster had never met before that day. And with this, the hope seems to be to dupe the remaining non-communist members of the Farmer Labor Party into believing, oh, everything's going to be okay. Yeah, I've heard some rumors, but I think we're going to be all right. So Charles thanked him, proceeded to use those cards as his official speech, word for word. So the funny thing is, the FBI reported all of this in heavy detail, but there's also another new FBI agent. Do you remember a guy by the name of Burley Bowler that we talked about in the last episode?
Yes.
So Burley Bowler of the Antelope Independent, Charles's newspaper rival.
Yeah, his nemesis.
Around this time has turned FBI snitch.
Well, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, a little bit before this, he was still on the socialist cause, and he had gotten invited to this event with Charles, where there were a bunch of other communists there. And apparently the meeting went so off the rails towards communism that Burley immediately called the FBI and said, I want in. And so during this time, his nemesis is narking to him to the FBI as well.
Oh my, well, of course, because he's his nemesis, but my God.
Have you ever hated someone so much that you called the FBI and said, can I do anything for free?
Yeah. Listen, do you have a pen and paper handy?
Either way, Charles gave his speech, and all factions of the Farmer Labor Party embraced him. They ended up nominating 2 non-commies for the president and vice presidential spot, but they did so under the agreement that if Bob La Follette saw what they did in nominating Charles Taylor and like, okay, the communists lost, I'm back in. If he does that, then those 2 guys they nominated would immediately drop out, and the endorsement would go to Bob La Follette. So 1 month later, Charles is back in Montana. He's working on the newspaper, and a really kind of weird detail comes across the wire. And it turns out the Farmer Labor Party had chosen to switch out their presidential ticket, replacing the random dudes they picked with William Z. Foster, who, funny enough, was running on the Workers' Party endorsement that year for president. And this is a weird thing to do because Charles, he's kind of the chairman of the party, and he's supposed to have a say on the matter. And he's just finding out about it over the wire. And so what had happened?
From a fucking wire. It's like, it's like being, I don't know, thrown out of your job via Twitter.
Yeah, oh my God. Like an SMS shows up that you forgot that you even had. Yeah, so it turns out while he was gone, members of the National Communist Party immediately swooped in, got their folks placed on the party's national committee, and changed the ticket behind Charles's back. And Taylor understandably lost his fucking shit. And he ended up offering the Montana Farmer Labor ticket to Bob La Follette, which was met with a very strong, I don't fucking need you, go away. So the Farmer Labor Party that Charles had fought so hard to take over ended up having no one on the ballot after 1 fucking month. And at the end of 1924, the Federated Farmer Labor Party was kicked out, and the former members of the party returned to rebuild what the communists had broken.
Man.
So throughout all of this, the Farmer Labor Party as a national organization had been fucked over beyond reasonable repair. Like I said many, many times before, it just now exists in Minnesota because they had to merge with the Democrats. So that was pretty much their only path forward as just regional politics, and that was it. But the thing is, Charles still controlled his version of the Farmer Labor Party in Montana. And thanks to Charles running the paper that most of the folks in the county read, very few people even knew about the failed communist takeover of the Farmer Labor Party.
How about that? Jesus fucking Christ.
So much so that when Charles and his friends all ran for re-election in 1924, they all easily won.
Ugh.
And to celebrate, Charles ordered the building of a $7,000 civic auditorium called the Farmer Labor Temple. It's a fine building. It looks okay. From what I read, people donated their time, they donated supplies, but they still needed another $7,000 in 1924 money to finish it. So it wasn't cheap. I don't think it's still there today.
Oh.
And lucky for Charles, back at home, things were running fairly smoothly. In 1923, Rodney Salisbury continued his tenure as county sheriff, and by all accounts, he did an amazing job. He upheld prohibition, he stopped cattle rustlers, halted car thieves, which was like a brand new thing for the time.
Sure.
I mean, how do you steal a car when no one knows how to use it? It's kind of great.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's got to be like the easiest to do. Like, are there even keys?
Oh my God.
You know?
Guys, crank the front slowly. I think that's how we got to do it. Or you just attach the front to 6 horses and pull it away so you can find someone who knows how to use it.
Fuck it, we'll figure it out at home.
We'll do it live. It's like the people who steal ATM machines and are just like, we'll figure it out at home. It can't be that hard.
I don't care. Just take the whole thing. The money's inside.
Yeah, and so according to the paper, he was doing a really great job. But also, that's kind of the story that the producers' news wanted to tell. The reality of the situation was Rodney. I'm just gonna say Rodney's Rodney, man. Rodney looks out for Rodney because Rodney has his own means of production.
Oh no, none of this is good.
So there's no clear evidence on this, but it kind of seems like that if you bribed him enough, he would let you come down from Canada and bring all the Canadian whiskey and beer that you wanted. Because look, the brothels he goes to kind of need to have booze, and they're bribing him also. So look, one need's got to meet another.
Oh my God.
This is something that Charles Taylor would actually talk about when interviewed in the future. He would say, you know, there were so many people coming down from Canada bootlegging booze that when the jail filled up, we just let them go. There was nowhere else to put anyone. So if you got someone new, you had to release someone. And it just kind of became a crime that no one ever really got punished for. But also prohibition was fucking stupid.
I'm choosing to believe that that's really where they were coming from with this. Or I can also see Taylor be like, hey, man, fuck it. You know, now they're coming down with booze. They're not stealing our horses. What do you want from me?
You know, that's a fair trade. A machine that 6 people in this county know how to use for a case of whiskey. That's a fair fucking trade in my book.
Done and done. God, do you want them stealing horses again? I didn't think so.
So the other weird thing, though, is it did kind of seem like as they called them, moon joints, or places you could get moonshine. The ones that most often got shut down were ones run by people who were not Rodney's friends. There's one guy, Rudolph, who he has a nickname, and it is a racial slur, despite the fact that the man is clearly German.
Oh.
I don't know how that happened, but weirdly enough, his friend Rudolph would never end up in jail, despite running a clearly illegal bar.
Petition for us to pivot from podcast to bar owners, and the bar is called Friend of Rooney's.
Oh my God. Yes. Rodney's House of Ill Repute.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know how no one in Plentywood has a bar right now called Rodney's. That feels like a layup.
Yeah, and if you know the history, you get a free shot. Come on.
Oh my God. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit in time up to 1925, because this is probably also one of the wildest things that Rodney did while he was there. So in 1925, Rodney began a very public affair with Marie Chapman Hansen, the wife of a flour merchant and a former employee of Charles Taylor's Producers News. She shared Rodney's more extreme views, and the two would fuck until Marie had 3 more children. And the funny thing about this, though, is that Rodney did have another wife and a whole other family at the exact same time.
Rodney!
And neither of them tried to hide it. Marie's husband knew they were fucking. There was nothing he could do about it. And it just kept going. He just had 2 families that everyone knew about.
Like, not even a divorce?
It would take until the 3rd child before Marie's husband would divorce her. And after he did, Rodney would raise his 1st and 2nd family very publicly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's your sheriff. He will get you drunk. He's poly as fuck, and I hope he's good to his families.
Yeah.
Who knows? Rodney's a strange man. Yeah, and so that is the sheriff of Plentywood. But Charles was anything if loyal. So if his friends back home needed help against the slings and arrows aimed their way, then the producers' news was there to step forward and clear their name as best they could, which worked for, a little bit. While the paper was still very popular, Charles was starting to run into some issues. Initially, it started with an advertising strike from some of the local businesses, which Charles then portrayed as elites and bankers and capitalist fucks for not giving his paper money to advertise their capitalism. So, communism.
None of this is a winning strategy.
Yeah, they essentially started having newspaper wars where there was a competing newspaper in town where all the businesses that weren't advertising would have ads being like, fuck this guy. And Rodney would reply with, rebuttal, no, fuck you guys. And this went on for a while, and this was news.
People of Plentywood deserve better.
From what I've read, they fucking loved it. They loved every second of this bullshit. No one has a TV. One guy has a car, and he drives it like an asshole. This is the most entertaining and best news there is.
The richest people of the community are the prostitutes.
Yes. It's such a weird ass town, and I kind of love it. But yeah. So secondly, Charles just started going to war in the paper with literally anyone in the town who so much as questioned him, his friends, or his paper. He would end up going to war with a doctor in the town who was going to be essentially there was a position for essentially a poor person doctor, where if you couldn't afford to go to a hospital, there was a doctor who legally had to take care of you for free, which,
That's the closest we've ever come to universal health care.
Yeah.
That's it. Just that one dude.
Yeah. And so there was a guy that Charles wanted. The county board said, no, we want this guy. And Charles said, you better not do it. Then they did it. And then Charles replied, but this guy murdered a patient.
Oh my God.
And so the doctor bought a newspaper and they started arguing with each other in the news.
And then decades later, we got Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter's kind of an improvement at this point because now we don't have to buy our own newspaper to yell at each other.
The overhead costs have shrunken significantly.
Yeah, like that doctor's newspaper lasted for 2 years and he used it just to fuck with Charles.
2 years.
2 years of fucking with Charles Taylor over justifiably being mad that he was like, this guy murdered a patient.
I've heard of petty cash expenses, but this takes the cake.
Where's that rim shot button on here that you can't hear?
I know. Womp womp.
So by all accounts, things are going great. But seriously, Plentywood's actually growing. The semi-secret communists were enjoying a well-supported rule. And for Charles, it seemed the perfect time for him to diversify. So in 1925, he made his first ever business investment. And Una, oh no. He invested a lot of money into a company called Radium Remedies Company.
Oh, no.
So the group made a product called Pyradium, and this stuff worked as a cure for various tooth and gum diseases, most notably being pyorrhea, which is a real name for periodontitis, or bloody gums.
Yeah.
And it worked because the secret ingredient is radium.
Yeah.
So for those of you who may not know why this is such a not so great thing, I would highly recommend you look up a little bit of American history called the Radium Dial Company and the Radium Girls.
Yeah.
So the Radium Dial Company was a watch company that made glow-in-the-dark watches because people discovered that if you paint a little bit of radium onto the watch dials, it glows in the dark. So they hired about 70 women to do this, and the brushes that they were given were pretty low quality. So what they were instructed to do was to lick the tip of the brush so it would get a fine point. You dip it into the radium solution, and then you paint, and then you repeat that process all day, 250 times a day.
Oh my God.
On average, they made about $20 a week, or in today's money, $378. And many of the women were left disfigured via radium poisoning. They suffered from brittle and collapsing bones, and in total, about 50 would die from their injuries. So 5 out of every 7 died from their injuries.
I don't have a good book to point to, but during the 1920s, radium was, I don't know, whatever Joe Rogan is currently shilling. Like it was, and I don't want to say the snake oil of its time, because there actually was snake oil at the time, but it was like the miracle cure-all.
Even up to the 50s, that was a thing. They were selling radiated water, essentially, as a
Yikes.
Yeah.
Also known as Chernobyl.
Yeah, you want a little Chernobyl inside you, it'll be great. You'll live just long enough.
You'll glow.
Oh my God. Yeah, so he invested in this company so much that he single-handedly paid for their manufacturing plant in Minneapolis and promised to be on site to run the whole thing. Now, his friends would say that he was pretty much duped by some very fast-talking salesmen of the time. So it's kind of interesting seeing a grifter get grifted.
We'd love to
and that's
see it.
probably not fair. I think Charles actually was a true believer for the things that he fought for. He just fought it in a very grifty way.
I also think it's like, this is where you can put things into historical perspective and be like, he probably didn't need to be duped by fast talking salesmen because everyone was kind of in on this fad.
Yeah, it's the 20s. You're either doing the stock market or you're diving into a fad, and it's going to end poorly for everyone.
Yeah.
But there is one kind of weird thing, because initially Charles is like, I'm going to be gone for a month. I'm going to come back to Montana. It's totally cool. I'll eventually get to the state Senate. I'll get to fucking work. And then a month later, the Producers News placed an article giving a fond farewell to the Taylor family, bidding them adieu in their adventures in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Did they just kick them the fuck out?
No, they just left. They willingly left to go run their radium factory.
No. So this was basically the Taylors being like, bye.
Yeah, it's like, I gotta make this work. I put so much money into this poison.
This better not lead to cancer for everyone I know.
Guys, I've been reading what's this Chancer stuff. I'm really nervous about it.
Chancer.
So at the Producers News, Charles would be replaced by a dude by the name of P.J. Wallace. And P.J. claimed to be a former colonel of the Irish Republican Army. And the big difference between him and Charles is that he was a lot more of a competent newsman. He didn't have a lot of flair or humor. He was just like, here is news. Enjoy news. Which is not why people read the Producers News. They wanted to see what crazy bullshit Taylor was going to say that day. Who is he fighting? Is he screaming at a paperboy now? Let's fucking find out.
Before there were soap operas, there was the Producer's Paper.
So while Charles was gone, the Producers News started to falter a little bit. Despite this, the Farmer Labor Communists all ran for re-election in 1926, including Minnesota resident Charles Taylor. And of course, they all won. However, this would end up being the high watermark of this particular group. And while Charles ditching town to make bullshit medicine didn't help, a lot more of the blame on the initial downfall could be placed on his dipshit pal Rodney. So I want to say allegedly before this because it feels like something that you should say allegedly for. I can't find a single ounce of evidence, and it seemed to be based entirely on town rumor. But it's a town of like 500 people, and I feel like if a rumor has legs amongst 500 people, I mean, who knows? I mean, then again, high school, like you'd have rumors started by 20 people that suddenly became true. So who fucking knows?
That's fair.
So 3 weeks after the 1926 election, a pair of masked and armed men would enter the Sheridan County Courthouse. It was near the end of the day, and it was on November 30th, which was the last day for folks to pay their taxes without being charged late penalties. So by this point, it's 6 p.m., almost everyone's gone. So these two dudes easily made their way to the county treasurer's office. They then proceeded to hold up the treasurer and his assistant, stole all the cash and bonds on hand, locked the witnesses in the building, and left, never to be seen again. And it would be an hour before anyone found the treasurer and his assistant. And by then, the two men were long gone with $60,000 in bonds and $75,000 in cash, totaling in today's money a heist of $1.6 million.
Holy cow.
So initially, the Producers News would attribute the crime to a series of bank robberies that had been occurring in the region, which honestly, I mean, that tracks. That sort of makes sense. But to a lot of people in town, it seemed like the plan was too good, that everything worked out so well that it had to be an inside job. And clearly, the shiftiest person in town had to be the person behind the idea. So immediately everyone started thinking, oh, Rodney did this.
Oh, our sheriff.
Yeah, clearly Rodney came up with this fucking idea. And it was not entirely true, but our old friend Burley Bowler was like, I will take that and make that as true as I can. Goodness. He immediately went to the paper and said, not only do I know that Rodney Salisbury did this, but County Treasurer Engelbert Thorstensen, who is also an ally of Charles Taylor, dude clearly had to be in on it too. Why the fuck did he have that much money at the end of the day? Why was he there so late? Why was no one else there to protect him if all this money was there?
Burley with the classic journalism. I'm just asking the question.
Look, I'm just asking the questions the FBI said I should.
Yeah. I'm just asking the questions to the FBI who are listening.
God damn it. So there's literally no proof whatsoever that Rodney or Engelbert had anything to do with this other than people being like, I don't know, man. It seems like too good of a plan. Most bank robberies, you know.
He was real chill with all the Canadian whiskey coming down. I'm just saying.
And who knows? I mean, he might have gotten completely drunk and been like, you know what I would do if I had fucking balls and didn't have two families and no free time?
2 families is expensive. There's your motive.
Oh, yeah. If his family started living better in the aftermath, yes, I would agree with you. But from what I read, that was not the case.
God.
Like, if he did get the money, he clearly never spent it.
Oh,
That's kind of what leads me to believe that this is just bullshit and propaganda to try to knock these folks down. It was just two dudes who got very fucking lucky, went to Canada, and never had to worry another day in their goddamn lives, ideally. So there would be investigations. One in particular was led by Rodney, so you know that one's going to go great. But another was led by the insurance company, and they had some questions to the point that they just refused to pay for the money that was lost.
Ooh.
But either way, this was enough of a scandal for Charles to realize, look, I got to get the fuck out of Minnesota and go home. If I just let this sit, it's not going to go well. So leading up to the 1928 elections, the secret communists were honestly in decent shape, despite what had just happened so shortly after the last election. Once again, Plentywood is actually thriving. The last year's harvest was record-settingly good, and it was starting to appear like Plentywood might actually be able to flourish into a thriving community, if not a city.
The C word.
I know. So, you know, it's all the things you really want if you're running for re-election. However, instead of running on the farmer labor ticket, this time everyone chose to ditch the party and run this time as independents. So Charles even announced that the Producers News would no longer be affiliated with any political party and just operate on its own.
You might say it would be nonpartisan.
It's a wild concept. Let's see how it works. So Charles would state, quote, I believe the people of Sheridan County have arrived at the age of political maturity. They know the qualifications of candidates who will solicit their votes for public office. It is for them to decide who shall serve them. In the coming campaign, the Producers News will maintain an independent attitude. Let whoever wishes to enter the primaries enter. We will not take sides. And I mean, it's a bold move, kind of dicks to be like, oh, you learned how politics do now. We're just going to take off the training wheels now and let you do this.
Hey, remember when I was petty as fuck? You all ate that shit up? Well, You know what? We've grown up.
Hey guys, what if the political maturity was the friends we made along the way?
Oh my God.
And I mean, it all sounds well and good, but this sudden independent turn was also because the local Farmer Labor Party and the Nonpartisan League holdouts in Montana were cutting bait. Clearly, the parties are falling apart, and at this point, a lot of the stalwarts are either going Democrat or Republican. So sensing the tides of how things were going, it was just kind of safer to go independent and hope for the best. And the other big hit came, though, via new management of an old newspaper. The Plentywood Herald had been purchased by North Dakotan Harry Polk, and while he initially avoided talking about local politics, his more Republican-leaning paper began finding footing going after Taylor and Salisbury, doing so by using all of the Producers News' old tactics against them. Because the thing that the Producers News had in their corner is that they were outsiders. They could constantly say they were going after the big guys, the establishment. Well, they've been in power long enough now that they're the establishment. They can't really pull that shit anymore.
Yep.
And Harry Polk, sensing an opportunity and realizing that Taylor and especially Rodney are kind of shady and not to be fully trusted, is going after them nonstop, saying that he's the outsider. He's there to clean up Sheridan from the new old gang that's running everything.
Yeah, from these coup motherfucker communists.
So Polk went in extremely hard against Rodney, accusing him of actively bootlegging, of selling fake driver's licenses to farmers. Apparently he would write notes that just said, do not arrest this man if he is driving.
Amazing.
I'm Rodney. Best of luck. But also he was accused of taking bribes from local sex workers to allow them to stay in business. And the Producers News, being sensible folks, took all this under consideration, then ran a full front-page article claiming that Polk had been forced to leave his teaching jobs in North Dakota due to having, quote, intimate relations with young and tender schoolgirls. Which,
what a description.
It's not great. But I would like to make it worse by saying, what was the average age that women were getting married back then?
18.
What is an age that would cause people to really worry at that time?
Yeah, Humbert level age.
Yeah. So Polk replied to this by making the robbery of the treasurer's office constant front page news. And this was mainly because that whole insurance argument that was going on was finally going to go to trial, because the county was suing the insurance company for not paying the money that was lost. And of course, I mean, it's a trial, so it's going up in October of 1928, 1 month before the election, and it being a federal trial will not be solved before the election. So Polk is just running this thing nonstop just to muddy the waters as much as goddamn possible. So the two papers spent the month of the trial bickering back and forth, claiming each other were lying or were crooked, culminating in County Treasurer Engelbert Thorstenson writing a front page article for the Producers News, insinuating that the Herald had hired an attorney to convince locals to call the insurance company and claim that he had been the ringleader of the robbery. And so the election comes by and Charles Taylor would win re-election. But many of the farmer labor communist independents would see their tenures come to an end, most notably amongst them being Rodney Salisbury, who only got 38% of the vote.
Ooh.
And in the end, the radical independents would lose all but 2 local races. If I remember right, they kept their position of county recorder and county clerk, and that was it. And then state senator for Charles. And by this, their grip on Sheridan County had come to a close. So times were desperate, and no one seemed to realize that more than the National Communist Party. They had viewed Taylor as their rising star, someone who might be capable of taking the movement mainstream. But now Taylor was starting to look like more trouble than he was worth. And it also didn't help that, well, I hate to say it, but the dude really liked Leon Trotsky. And if you were a true communist after the death of Lenin, you kind of had to be a Stalinist. And Stalin, that dude hates everyone, but he mostly hates Leon Trotsky.
Yeah.
So the American Communist Party began kicking out all the Trotskyists that they could. But they briefly allowed their one major elected official to stay in the party. But that's when Charles decided to mock their attempt at creating a farmers' union. And so the Communist Party blew a gasket and kicked him the fuck out.
Come on, God.
So Taylor's crestfallen in some ways, noting that he genuinely wanted a communist movement to succeed in America, but didn't see that as possible with the current leadership. And as a final fuck you, the Communist Party sent out a woman by the name of Ella Reeve Bloor to give a speech in Plentywood. Now, Mother, as she was nicknamed, was an absolutely beloved person in the movement. She was a suffragette, a socialist, fought against booze, and co-founded the Social Democratic Party alongside Eugene Debs. And she spent her trip telling everyone in Plentywood that Charles Taylor and Rodney Salisbury can both go redistribute how much they could fuck each other.
Oh my God.
So now he's shunned by the communists. And in 1930, Charles would take this as an opportunity to maybe try and gain a political promotion. So instead of running for re-election for a seat that he has easily won repeatedly.
Easily won a good position
that he almost never showed up for.
He didn't have to do shit for.
Now he's running to be the senator of the entire state of Montana.
Come on.
That's what people should have told him, because he ended up getting 1% of the votes.
1%.
Which was enough for him to finish 3rd out of 5, beating the socialist and communist nominees. So I'm sure he probably took a little bit of solace in that. So with this election, none of the radical farmer labor nonpartisan communist independents would remain in elected office. Their dynasty was officially over. Or was it? As for the hatred between Charles and the Communist Party, well, that would last for about a year. You see, a little thing called the Great Depression was happening, and it was kickstarting a lot of tragedy. And if there's anything the Communist Party at this time needed, it was capitalist tragedy.
Yes.
And so they decided that if there was ever going to be a time that they were going to take over, it was now. They immediately invited Charles back into the fold and began work on reclaiming Montana for themselves, especially considering it was the one place they were succeeding.
They had something of a foothold.
But this time things were going to be different, because Charles Taylor, he was going to run as an out and proud communist. The Communist Party wasn't going to be the Workers' Party. They were going to be the Communist Party and making a huge push, fucking everywhere. Mother Bloor even returned to Plentywood to retract literally everything she said about Charles the year prior. Charles was made the state organizer of the United Farmers League, the same group that he had made fun of the year before, and appointed Rodney to be the secretary of the organization in Sheridan County. And the Communist Party even led a protest in the city with signs that called for a halt on evictions, the need for shoes, and probably one of the most poorly aged signs ever, quote, "Nobody starves in Russia."
Oh yeah, that didn't age well.
Nobody. No one in Siberia. No one forced to move to Siberia.
Yeah,
no one in Ukraine.
No one in Petrograd.
No one starved. It's very good. No one starved here. Yeah, it's very good.
Definitely. Yeah, the Workers' Party unite around a centralized grain distribution. Definitely not famines.
So in 1931, Charles would take his moment and swing big. So he's already kind of moving up in the Communist Party, but the Communist Party's farmer paper that they have like a national paper called the Daily Worker, and they had a specifically farmers' national newspaper, and that had just shut down due to financial reasons. So sensing an opportunity, Charles offered up the Producers' News to officially become the National Communist Farmers paper. And the party was cautious, but thanks to a lot of pushing from Mother Bloor, they not only agreed to make the paper their new farmer rag, but they also agreed to readmit Charles fully into the party. So in 1932, Charles was back in good standing and was appointed chairman of the executive board of the United Farmers League. Once again, an organization he actively made fun of.
I mean, this guy can't lose. Every misstep is a step in the right direction.
I mean, you would think. But the funny thing about this was kind of, is backhanded promotion a phrase?
Yes.
Because the communists, what they really wanted is to get Charles the fuck out of Plentywood. Because they viewed him as he was too unreliable. He's too independent.
Because he never goes to his job, ever? His work is essentially his mistress. Like, anytime he's in Minnesota, he's like, oh, fuck, I gotta get back to Montana. When he's in Montana, he's like, oh, shit, I gotta get back into Minnesota where my job mistress is.
God damn it. Well, and the other reason behind this is because now we get to enjoy the high watermark of the Comintern, the what I'm going to describe as Russian middle management. Just
oof, da.
It's no bueno. It's not good. So the Comintern was looking at, essentially did a review of everything in the American Communist Party and said, we have some notes. They are long and you will read all of them. And one of their notes was specifically about communist-led newspapers. And they stated that if you wanted to run a communist newspaper, you had to refuse advertisements from, quote, professionals who were bourgeois candidates for office. You had to cease the printing of Christmas greetings and consistently write rebuttals to stories that were anti-communist. So there's a lot
about buzz, man.
Yeah, there's a lot about this that it's just like, yeah, that's the communists. They're anti-religion. They don't like the bourgeois, and they constantly want to debate about why they're the best. So now Charles is gone. He's actively running the United Farmers Founder Organization League, whatever. And so the party had to bring in someone new. So they brought in a guy by the name of Eric Burt. Eric is 26. He's from New York City, and he has never been a farmer. He has never lived this life. He's just an extremely smart, well-educated communist dude.
He's just a little fancy boy, ain't he?
You know, I hate to quote John Cox's political ad, but pretty boy. But the local communists loved him. I mean, he's a smart guy. He knows his theory. He knows his policy.
Yeah, probably argues really well.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's going to be, he's a shoo-in for a national newspaper editor. And initially the paper did pretty well because, I mean, it's now a national newspaper. Your sales are naturally going to go up. But locally, people didn't really take to the changes. Instead of the humor that Charles had created or the wars that he would just randomly fight in the opinion section, the folks in Sheridan County were now getting think pieces and communist manifestos.
Boo.
They were essentially copy-pasting stuff from the Daily Worker.
Ugh.
And once again, now there's no Christmas greetings. There's no like down-home local shit. It's all just like, we have taken over magazine. You will enjoy.
You enjoy this fine article about how we are best type of economic resource.
Do you have too much bread? What would really fuck things up would be the various youth movements in the county that the communists pushed very hard. So the ultimate goal was to get a whole new generation of communists ready to lead, and do so by creating an organization similar to the Boy Scouts called the Youth Pioneers. However, one of the biggest pushes with these groups was the derision of religion. And I would like to remind you that this area was founded almost exclusively by Scandinavian Lutherans.
Yeah.
It's just pretty much asking for trouble. And in the past, Charles Taylor recognized that he couldn't just go out there and say, hey, God's dead and Marx killed him, fucking deal with it.
You're welcome.
Go farm more. Your Sunday morning's free. Have fun.
Yeah.
So many of his opinion pieces would make decent points that religion has often used as a way to keep people like arguing and fighting amongst each other rather than bringing people together, and would just do these pieces that would allow folks to maybe come to the conclusion on their own that maybe they didn't need religion.
Sure.
If they came to it on their own, then yeah, more than likely they're going to stick with it. But if there's one thing I know about farmers, they love being told what to think, especially if it's different from what they already think.
Especially from some degree having pretty boy.
Some 26-year-old from New York City.
Let me see your fingernails, pretty boy.
Hey, which of these objects is a rake? But also, Charles would include Christmas greetings in his newspaper. He incorporated religious imagery and occasionally quoted scripture. While religion does not have a place in communism, Charles knew that if it was to succeed in Northeast Montana, that you kind of have to make a compromise to get people interested initially. And if there's anything Stalin loves, it's nuance and compromise.
I was going to say, like, is this guy really a communist then? Like,
I think he was probably more of a socialist in the long run. I feel like that he was really enamored with communism in a lot of regards and just hoped that there would be more debate.
Yeah.
That if he found a way that it could work, that people would listen. And he's found a way that it works. It's a little sneaky, but it's working.
Yeah. And people are listening.
And Stalin does not care.
Well, I just love, after like so much about the factions and the Communist Party to the Farmers Federation to the Workers Farmers Federation Union. It's like this one time he allows a little bit of compromise. And I just love that it's for like the Christmas greeting in his newspaper.
Yeah. So people will lose that. It's an American tradition. People will lose their minds if you. I know. And it's like, it's your community. They're celebrating Christmas, man. Like, read the room.
Bring a gift. God.
So the pinnacle of this complete misunderstanding of community and the Comintern would end up happening in 1932, literally months after Eric Burt showed up. So Ronnie Salisbury had a daughter named Janice, and she would end up dying at the age of 14 due to appendicitis. Now, the funeral that would be held was held at the Farmer Labor Temple, and she was given, quote, a Bolshevik service. Flowers had been sent in from the United Farmers League, the Young Pioneers, and the Communist Party of America. Red and black banners displaying the hammer and sickle covered every window and wall, and the Young Pioneers sang multiple revolutionary songs, ending with a pledge of allegiance to the Soviet flag. Now, this in and of itself might not have ended things within the community. There was a really strong push with the youth for a lot of these communist groups. Charles did have some complaints that, you know, if you're trying to fight the Boy Scouts, you need to make it sound fun. And a lot, as he put it, you know, there's a lot more theory and a lot less kitten ball.
Yes.
Yeah. And he's just like, maybe reverse that if you want people to be interested and stick with it. But yeah, so this huge Bolshevik funeral service is held. And Eric Burt has this wise fucking idea to make it front page news for the Producers News. And now that it's a national newspaper, it's going to start to get picked up by national press.
Oh, no.
And the national press suddenly have this announcement of this non-religious Bolshevik funeral in the middle of nowhere, Montana. And this embarrasses the community a bit. And it's not so much that they're just like, this is a non-religious thing, we hate it. It was more the fact that they were pissed off on Rodney's behalf that the communists are suddenly using this tragic death as nothing more than propaganda. It's like, someone died. Have some fucking respect.
Ooh, yeah.
And this would end up causing the biggest break between the community and the Communist Party. But there would also be one final blow to end all blows. So prior to 1932, much of the focus for the communist movement within the area was fighting to help farmers keep their land. Often a farmer would be one bad crop or one bad storm from having their property foreclosed or seized. And the idea of farmers working together to collectively protect each other became a very easy selling point. And as the Depression grew worse and worse, the issue became greater and greater. However, by 1932, the Comintern was more interested in selling American farmers on the idea of land distribution, where everyone gives up their farms and are then given a plot directly by the party government. Which, yeah, I mean, that is communism, but it is a huge fucking turn from we are going to help you save your family land to we are going to take away your family land and you're going to get an equal portion that everyone else gets. And once again, it's just this whole thing where the Comintern's like, no, we know what we're going to do. We don't care what's worked for you. We've decided this works, so fucking do it. And by doing all of that, Eric Burt has been given an impossible task. He was told by the locals various ways, like, hey, here's how you can get folks on your side. One of the big ones being use parables as a way to get farmers to understand intricate communist doctrine, to which Burt outright refused to do, saying, quote, I don't like parables one damned bit.
And they won't like you, Eric.
And he referred to the use of parables as, quote, an escape from using the Soviet Union as a contrast to capitalism and using instead some idealized figment, a misty vision of socialism in the abstract. To which I imagine he then just got hit over the head with a beer bottle.
Yeah.
And someone said, woo. It's a shitty argument when people are trying to fucking help you. So instead, Burt made the paper depressing as fuck. He told stories of pain and misery in capitalist nations while speaking of the hope and joy in Russia. The humor's gone. Anything entertaining during a time of great, what's the word, depression? Yeah, it's gone. And in one final fuck you to the community, local news all but disappeared. But when they did speak of things like protests being led by local farming groups who weren't associated with the United Farmers League, the paper would call their causes failures for not addressing the proper issues. And this was once again a direct issue from the Comintern that if you have a group that believes in what you're doing but isn't communist, say they're fucking up, say they're the worst. And so yeah, and the locals who were just happy for any help from anyone were more pissed off that suddenly these fucking purity police are coming out to say, oh, you're not talking about X, Y, and Z, so clearly they're against you, despite the fact that they're doing good on your behalf.
Ugh.
So within months of taking over the Producers News, it started to fall into bankruptcy. Advertisers left en masse, leaving behind only Charles's radium bullshit as a regular ad buyer. The length of the paper dropped by 75%, often topping out to about 4 pages max. So when the 1932 election came around, all those pissed off chickens came home to roost. By now, farmer labor independents were running as open Communist Party candidates. And while communist candidates performed well in Sheridan County, it wasn't the kind of well that made for close races. The communist candidate for governor would get 25% of the vote in Sheridan County, but it also didn't help that the nominee for governor was Rodney Salisbury.
Rodney!
And statewide, he would finish in 4th out of 5 with 0.93% of the vote. Charles Taylor would also attempt to run for state representative, but lost handily to the Republican nominee. In the end, it only took less than a year for the Communist Party to ruin the one bright spot that they had in the entire fucking country. Some party holdouts would try to keep things going in Plentywood, but after the 1932 election, the communist movement in Montana and by association America was pretty much dead. The Producers News would see a rotating door of editors before it unceremoniously ended publication in 1937 under the guidance of a somewhat depressed Charles Taylor.
Oh.
Another thing that happened at the time is in 1932, the radium company that he founded got sued for having misleading labels, and all of their product was ordered destroyed.
No, Charles!
It was a bad time.
Oh, yikes.
So this is pretty much the end of our tale. So I guess it's good to talk about what the fuck happened to Rodney.
Yeah.
So after his failed run for governor, Rodney would remain in Sheridan County, but would eventually move away with Marie and their 3 children. I'm assuming also abandoning Emma and his other 5 children, but it's really not clear. The family would initially move to Billings, but would finally settle in Missoula. Rodney continued his work as an activist and would become president of the Montana Farm Holiday Association, a group that attempted to convince farmers that they should no longer sell their crops or cattle until the price of their goods went up to their desired price. But it also turns out that the Communist Party viewed membership in this association as tantamount to treason, and Rodney, their first major elected candidate, would be kicked out of the party. But also in 1938, Rodney would die of a hemorrhage while visiting Plentywood.
Oh, no.
Of course, it's completely unclear how he got that hemorrhage. Some folks believe that he'd been poisoned by his wife, Marie. Others thought he got into a barroom fight and fucked up his head. But his daughter, Camille, figured it was just a stroke, and, people were just making up stories as they had about him his whole life. Some being true, some not.
Yeah, well, without the paper to go to for their stories.
The Plentywood Herald would print his obituary and finish with the following, quote, "Probably no man in Sheridan County has been on the lips of friend and foe as much as Rodney Salisbury. His enemies and others bitterly condemn his past activities. Friends today said he was fearless in his convictions and that he was no lover of sham. His fight, they say, was for the underdog." But what of Charles Taylor? Well, after shutting down the Producers News in 1937, he moved with his wife and family to Seattle, where he joined the Socialist Workers' Party. He worked in the printing world and dedicated his time to fighting workers' causes when he could. He ran his own print shop for a bit, which printed an Italian-language newspaper, and then he worked in the shipyards during World War II. Later in life, he'd take a job as a proofreader at the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, which was the second largest newspaper in the city. Around this time, after his wife died, he also joined the People's Church, not to be confused with the People's Temple. The People's Church was a very left-leaning megachurch in the area.
Oh.
And his son would essentially say, Dad never believed in God, but he was lonely and wanted to hang out with like-minded people, so he joined the church to make friends.
Yeah.
Eventually, though, he would move back to Aitkin, Minnesota, and we know this because the FBI had tracked him for the remainder of his life.
Oh my God.
So the FBI does have a note saying Charles Taylor moves from Seattle to Aitkin, Minnesota, and it's one of the last notes that they have on his file.
Oh.
And 4 years after that, he would end up dying in Little Falls, Minnesota. And today, Plentywood, Montana is a town about 1,700 people, and politically, it's about as conservative as it gets. And strangely enough, no one there really wants to talk about being the capital of communism in America for about a decade. So yeah, and that is the story of the Montana Communists, or the one-time communism kind of was ruling things for a little bit.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Oh my gosh.
And like I said in the last episode, a lot of this research is based on a really great book, The Red Corner by Verlaine Stoner McDonald. It's excellent. You can buy it online. Would highly recommend.
Give it that gadfly bump.
Absolutely. So Una, how you feeling about
wow
the high school drama that is far left politics in America?
Shit. Everyone is so petty. So fucking petty.
Everyone today talks about how it's just like, people just can't get along. We don't talk to each other enough. This is what happens when you talk enough.
Yeah. Wow. I just loved, because I'm going along and I'm just assuming, like, as Taylor and his gang were fixing to, like, do a switcheroo and become Communist Party, or at least like communists in vibe, if not in name, figuring like, okay, so it's like, sure, communists, this is yet another angle to like get into a place of power. But then the fucking young pioneers show up and like all of this just imported USSR items. And it's like, it's like, oh no, we're for real. Okay. Yeah. Like legit communism. Wow.
And it's so weird to me. Like a lot of it is that analogy of crabs in a bucket. There are so many versions of the same idea. And some of them are doing really good. I mean, the Socialist Labor Party was doing pretty good for a piece. The Socialist Party of America did extremely well for a while. The Nonpartisan League was doing great, but just everyone wanted to climb on top of each other so bad. Like the Workers' Party had to hollow out the Farmer Labor Party just to try to get a leg up. It is just the complete unwillingness to compromise and work together is so interesting to me for this. But then again, I mean, it's an ideology where you have Stalinism, you have Trotskyism, Leninism, De Leonism. There's just like,
and everyone's convinced they're the only ones that are right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but also just like this decade wherein you had a very vibrant third party scene.
Oh yeah. Like we really could have had an amazing lengthy history of third parties that stemmed out of that, if not for, the Sedition Act didn't help. Everyone just kind of fucking each other over out of their own ambition.
Yeah, the Communist Party, Big C from the continent, just stepping on its dick to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's correctly.
Exactly, yeah. And, I said earlier that we don't exactly have a Sinn Féin or anything like that, but by all rights, we kind of should in this country, where each state is diverse enough in their differences that it really does make sense that there would be a unique party to Minnesota or Montana or North Dakota. And it's interesting to see those parties kind of pop up and succeed for a little bit, but more shocking that they don't really hold on.
Yeah.
And, I mean, a lot of that is probably just because the two major parties don't want that to happen and have in recent history done everything they can to make sure that that doesn't exist on a national level.
Right. And I feel like that stranglehold has gotten so much more entrenched, since I guess World War II in the 50s.
Yeah. Yeah. At bare minimum since 1980 and then absolutely in 1992.
Yeah. Woof.
So that's a high note to end on, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we beat the commies. We did it. We beat the commies.
What were we so worried about?
Fucking seriously. Whenever
just let them burn out on their own.
Every time. That's what happens every fucking time for the most part.
You don't got to do nothing.
Like China's been able to make it work because they're like, oh, we need to compromise. We need to make this work for us. And then we can make it work. And if the Comintern would have just calmed the fuck down and been like, okay, this works here. Let's figure out why this works here. I mean, I'm not rooting for a communist party in America, but if I'm being objective about it.
I mean, that's the other thing that like I hear specifically of this story. And it's like, I'm all for the very leftist politics and the socialism and everything. And then I hear the communists. It's like, oh, when you're given the space and time to actually exist as a third party option and then succeed as that third party option, it's like, actually, you know what? No, I'm good. Like, no, thank you. No, thank you.
No, I will say, and I think I have to be fair on this, there have been Communist Party members who have been elected to political positions since then. Crosby, Minnesota had a mayor for 2 years in the 30s who was a communist. There was a St. Louis alderman who served there from 1983 to, I want to say, the 2000s. And as of right now, there are a couple city aldermen or alderwomen who are communist members who are serving as well. So I would not say that Rodney Salisbury is a man to take as the median for how things would go. But yeah, it's just such a weird and interesting bit of hidden history that I had a fun time learning about. And, I'll always take time to dunk on communism. That is just such a computer simulation form of government.
Yep.
But yeah, on that note, we'll see you next week where we're going to be returning with Preview 2022. We're going to be staying kind of near Idaho, and it's going to be fucked up. So join us for that roller coaster of a ride next week.
Strap in.
Gadfly.
Gadfly is a production of Added Serotonin. Our episodes are edited by Brianna Valentine of Rem Alternus Productions. Our theme song is Sophomore Makeout by Silent Partner, and you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at GadflyPod.
Ready to level up your cosplay game? Check out the Geek Forge on Etsy. With a variety of props to give your photos that extra spark, you'll find just what you need. Hold magical fire in the palm of your hand, or take a potion to restore your mana. With a large variety of colors, you can choose your own magical flavor for your cosplay. Bring drama to your photo shoots with these vibrant props and more, all available at the Geek Forge. Are you ready to level up your cosplay?